having to guess a little bit there. I'm going to thin the whole thing down just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to work up at this end, and this is conventional spindle turning here. So, I'm going to make a bead at the top. Make a cove. Make the bottom of the cup. Together. So this is all the same elements that we teach the kids at Safe Harbor, or that we've done before in making finials or any of that. It's the same kind of shapes. I have a little sandpaper. Oh, so now it's just a matter of doing whatever design you want in here. Let's say we're going to make a flange like there. Now, as a design thing, I probably don't really want this flange to be the largest diameter compared to the cup. I'm going to want it to be smaller than the cup. Now I'm going to knock that down a little bit. Okay. I want to have another little bead. With the undercut of the toe. And again, for design purposes, remember the spindle discussion we had, the elements a couple months ago. I'm not going to want this piece, this section here, bigger than this one. I don't want this one bigger than this one. Okay? Because I want it kind of to flow down the stem and then gradually come open at the bottom. Okay? All right, so I did that. And then I put a little, on that one I had a little bead down here. Again, smaller yet. And one more. And now I'm going to start coming back here from my bigger diameter and come and meet that. Come and meet the base of that bead.
Called a roughing cut.
This isn't quite long enough. This Okay, so let me make the bead down here. Actually, I'm gonna thin this all out just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put in a bead here. Smaller diameter bead here. And then I'm going to blend these together. Okay, that's pretty close. And make a ball down in here. Now, if you remember from Emery's demo, where he was showing you how to duplicate spindles, you'd be doing what he did. You'd be either making a story stick with the dimensions on it, you'd be using your calipers and measuring down and, you know, doing all that stuff, which is great. And you really need to do that if you're making a pair. I'm not making a pair so much as I'm making two that kind of look alike. Okay. Okay, so I'll use my calipers in here. Did the inside, that gives me the outside diameter. Okay. That's a little over a ½ inch thick. Okay. I'm going to make, I had a little bit of a flat. So let me see this flat across here is a little bigger in diameter. So let's see where we are with that. Okay. And now, you can make a bead. That ought to get me pretty close. Okay, so normally, still have a little rough spot there. So let me just run the skew down there one more time. So one of the things about the skew when you're coming into a cove like this, you can't come in with the heel first. If I'm coming into a hard bottom, you know, where I don't have a curve, I actually have a flat, then just as I'm coming up to it, I'll take the heel of the skew and come right in. That'll let me cut dead into a square corner. All right, but you can't do that when you're coming into a rounded corner like that. Okay, so obviously I'm trying to really do this fast. All right?
Oh, look at that.
So, the other thing that I want to keep, I got enough time, I think. Let me try something else here. Now, this is just a junk piece of wood, nothing fancy. But these are really nice if you can make them out of a nice piece of wood. Okay. So I should have done a little better job of cutting that off, but this is going to be kind of like what you do to the bottom of a pepper mill. Okay? If you know, pepper mill is a stepped bottom. So I'm going to use 2 drills to create a step. And the reason I'm doing that, let me show you on the board. Is I'm going to cut a step in here like this, all right? And that's going to give me room for a plug that I do. The plug will slip in here, I can glue it in, you won't really notice it. And then I'm going to drill a recess back in here, all right? That's what the second drill is for. And this is what gets filled with BBs, all right? And after I fill that with BBs, I come back and I put a plug in the bottom, glue that in, and that gives me the weight on the bottom. Then I can come down and I can turn it. Now you need to remember in your design that you can't drill this so deep that you start cutting through the edge of your design, okay?
BBs